What is going on, guys? My name is Wheelman, and today I want to talk about something to do with Star Wars Battlefront. And it's not exclusive to Star Wars Battlefront, but that's kind of the example that I'll use here. I was watching a video, now that the game is out, by the way. It's been out for, I believe, a couple of weeks, and I have a few hours under my belt, and I think I'm qualified to say a couple of things. I'm no expert by any means, and I'm certainly not great at the game. I'm not very good at video games in general, but I know the kind of experiences that I like, and I know when I'm enjoying something, and I'm enjoying the game so far. It has its up moments and its down moments, but overall, I think it's definitely it's a good game. I don't know if it's a great game, but we'll get to that. I don't want to dive that deep in too early. What I wanted to say is that I was watching a video the other day made by Hutch, who's my favorite YouTuber personally. I mean, I'm subscribed to a lot of people, but I've probably been subscribed to his channel longest. And he made a video back in October that I had only just now seen in my sub box as I was scrolling through some things looking for something to watch, and it was back in the beta. And he talks about balance issues of the Battlefront beta, and talks about not all negatives, but essentially the video that I was watching was a response to another video of his that he had made the day prior. In that first video, he had kind of criticized the game for a few things that he clarified and corrected himself on, or better articulated in his own words in the second video. And so I'll link that video in the description. I think it's a really interesting and insightful look, even though we're not in the beta anymore. Obviously, the full game is out. It's not like a huge amount has changed since then. I mean, the beta was not that long before the full retail release of the game, so it's pretty close. But specifically what I wanted to talk about with Battlefront, and it applies to other games as well, as I said, like Battlefield is a good example, is cinematics in games. And like, do cinematics belong in video games? Do Hollywood action movie moments belong in something that's not a Hollywood action movie? And that's something I was thinking about yesterday when I was watching this video, and then I kind of slept on it and formulated this idea in my head that I come to the, well, I don't want to say I come to the conclusion now, but I come to the point now where I'm thinking maybe not so much. And it's not, I want to clarify, I don't think they don't belong outright. I think there's certainly a place for cinematic moments and movie moments in games, because we see that all the time, right? We see, like I said, Battlefront, Battlefield, DICE games, obviously. DICE games are kind of big for that, but there are a lot of game studios and a lot of different games that are big on that are not, I mean, you know, first-person shooters are huge on that these days. The Call of Duty franchise is basically just a sequence of shooting guys down a hallway and then watching a cutscene of some shit exploding. I mean, to be honest, it's not, I don't mean to like reduce the whole series to that, but in a sense, in some sense or another, I think it's fair to say that that's a large portion of what those games are and what those games actively choose to be. I mean, they're striving to be that. And that combined with the idea that gameplay always has to be this action-packed, you always have to be contributing and doing something. And that part I don't have a problem with at all. I like that. It's just one of many styles of playing a game, or building a game for a player to go in and play. However, I think that there is kind of a middle ground that needs to be reached, and again, this is something that Hutch talked about in his video, but there's a middle ground that needs to be reached between direct contribution on the part of the player within a greater battle. At least, let's say we're just talking about shooters or just games like Battlefront or Battlefield or even Call of Duty or something like that, but especially larger scale games where the player has to feel like or wants to feel at least, like they're directly contributing to the battle and they're having an influence over the larger scale conflict that's going on. They're influencing the game versus this kind of grand scope and scale of battle that's, you know, you're in the Star Wars universe and there's fucking X-Wings and TIE fighters everywhere and stuff's exploding. And by the way, I've got to applaud Battlefront. I'll get to this in another video, but I do have to applaud Battlefront on the way that they did the immersion, and it looks like the old Star Wars movies, and it feels like being in the old Star Wars movies in a lot of moments. So that's really cool, and DICE, I think, did a really good job with that. Anyway, the point is, it's immersion versus active, you know, bang bang bang, exciting moment after exciting moment gameplay, and a lot of that kind of feel these days is supported by and held up largely by cinematic moments, whether they're cutscenes or whether they're just things happening. And, oh, look at that thing that exploded, or look at that X-wing came down. I can't believe that's not a scripted event. That just kind of happened. And while that's really cool, I think it's something that should be used as a supporting feature, as an addition into the game that integrates well, rather than as a crutch. And I'm not saying it's necessarily used as a crutch in Battlefront. It feels like it's edging in that direction sometimes. Not all the time, just sometimes. A good comparison for this is if anyone has ever watched Top Gear or heard James May from Top Gear's explanation of why he thinks cars that are put around the Nürburgring in Germany are kind of ruined after that, purely because they are going for a lap time and they're shirking everything that isn't just that lap time, and they're taking a road car, running it around this ring, trying to get it half a second or a hundredth of a second faster, or whatever it is, than these other cars that it's competing with, so that it can, and purely so that it can say, we are the fastest around the Nürburgring in such and such class, or even just generally. It ruins the car. It takes away a lot of the feel of the car, and it kind of screws it over for the person who's actually buying it to try and drive it on the road, even if they're trying to drive it on some road in Europe that's a twisty, windy thing where you can actually get performance out of a car. It's not built for that anymore. It's built just for the Nürburgring. So again, that's just kind of what I mean by using the cinematics as a crutch, is that if a game is, and again, I'm not accusing Battlefront of this, but if a game is building itself around, well, we have to be cinematic because that's what people want. We have to have such and such number of cinematics, or we have to have some portion of the game feel like a movie. That kind of takes away from the experience of a game, because it is a game. It's supposed to be a game. It's not supposed to be a movie. So that's basically what I had to say, and what I was interested in is your guys' thoughts. Are cinematics valid in the way that they're used a lot of the time in gaming today? Do you think that they're used too much, or do you think that they're used kind of as a crutch where they shouldn't be? My thoughts on it, like I said, is that a lot of times they can be used well, but I think what is going on is in the surrounding community, in the gaming community, and not just in the game development community, there's a demand more and more for greater and greater cinematic moments and more cinematic moments, and that this game should look like a movie, and this game looks like a movie, and that's awesome, or we wish this game had more movie moments. And I think that it's important to respect that the game doesn't have to be a movie because it's not a movie. It's not supposed to be a movie. It's a game. If you were going to sit here and have a passive activity like watching a movie, you would watch a movie, or you would watch a TV show or something. That has to be tempered, obviously, with the fact that I do want some cinematic moments, and I'm sure a lot of players have different amounts of that they want, and game developers have to reach a middle ground, yes. But anyway, I'm rambling at this point. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments, and there will be more Battlefront content coming. I have more thoughts on the game that I will do commentaries on, and you should see some live stuff coming as well. I'm hoping to be able to stream the game. I just got a new capture card. I just got a new video card, rather, for my computer, not a new capture card. So you'll be seeing some gameplay stuff, some live stuff, some commentaries, hopefully some streams. I'm gonna kind of benchmark my new card and see what's possible, and hope that my CPU isn't bottlenecking it too much. So anyway, I'll get to all that in future videos. Until then, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys later.